Hello, everybody. Oh, wait, hang on. Have the wrong scene. Let's try this. There we go. I am Ben Pearson, the Roadster Tracker, and we are going to do something that I have never done before. We're going to show you a little bit behind the curtain and how Where's Roadster is actually developed. And the reason why we're doing this is because Lucy just barely launched, and we're going to show how that works. Now, I have not done this very often, so I'm checking to make sure the live stream is live, which it looks like it is. Excellent. And okay, I think we're going to stay on this view. So Lucy just barely launched, and I want to make an update to Where's Roadster for that. So let's take hey there, Alan, welcome. Going to try something different here. We're going to create a new page for Lucy. I'm going to base it off of the Parker Solar Probe page that we have. So we'll just call it Lucy. So what I develop in is called Hugo. It hasn't really been super updated recently, so we're gonna give this a go and see what kinds of fun things we can do with this. Hugo lists everything in Markdown. This is all kind of metadata that is processed in the title for various purposes. It does show up in the title of the page. This is all mostly HTML code. It does have the code that actually develops this website. Hey there, Ramkumchna. I probably pronounced that horribly. Sorry. I try. So what do we got here? To visit the Trojans of Jupiter named Lucy. So let's find the website for Lucy, and I'm not going to do that on the stream that I am showing, but I'm just going to Google NASA Lucy. I'll show some of the stuff that I'm doing, but if it's less interesting, then we're not going to, or it's just a simple Google. Here we go. So this is the page that we're going to put in. So I'll just copy the URL and replace it for the one that we had there for the Parker Solar Probe. And we should be good to go. Good. Excuse me there. The next thing here, so this is going to, Lucy will explore Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, which may have pieces left over from the formation of the solar system. Pretty interesting thing. We'll need a picture of it as well. And I'm going to look at the URL that we're looking at. Let's see if we can find an image here. This one will be useful later on, but we'll get there. Let's take, I like this one. So we're going to copy the image let's just link. Open image, new tab. Yeah. So this is the URL for that image, and I'm going to use NASA's because NASA is a very good provider. And we're going to see what we can do here. So let's see, caption, Lucy, courtesy of, it's not APL. This is just NASA, I think. This is a straight NASA mission. Okay. So we have the caption, which is helpful for a lot of things, and this will show the little blocks. Now, I'm going to show what this looks like so far. We'll run Hugo. or not Hugo, command line. And I have to switch to my directory where we have this desktop Hugo Roadster. So then we run Hugo server. This will run a temporary version of it that can be updated in near real time, which is kind of neat. So this is the base website, but we want to go to Lucy. Capital. Why did I do that? Yes, let's save all the documents. Can we rename this maybe? Yeah, rename to Lucy with a lowercase l. Yes. Well, I don't know if that'll work, but it shouldn't matter. Anyways, back to the website that we had pulled up. Here we go. Let's try this again. /Lucy. Still not working. Huh. Why? This is in the right directory, isn't it? Yep. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to rename it to a lowercase. Sorry, I'm doing that off the stream, but I am not used to doing this kind of thing on stream, so some of it will be on, some of it will be off, and that's just how it is. Should have had an image for this. I ended up doing this a little bit earlier than expected because events in my life are crazy at the moment. So I'm going to the directory where I keep all of this and hoping that I don't leak too much information so I don't get crazy people looking at my computer. Not that I think that's very likely. Well, I'll go ahead and show this directory. This is all of the various files for the various spacecraft. We're going to rename this to lowercase Lucy, and that should help. Okay, so I'm going to close this and then open it back up, and okay. Now Hugo is redoing this. Good. So let's pull up the website and look at Lucy. Still nothing. I'm supposed to do the slash the other way? Hang on. Let's try Parker Solar Probe. That works. Lucy. There we go. I was doing the slash the wrong direction. Silly me. All right. So this still has Parker Solar Probe, which is fine. Which is actually really close to Venus right now. That's interesting. So, huh. Wow. I did not know the Parker Solar Probe was doing a flyby of Venus today. But apparently it is. So there you go. This is why I should check my own website. Hey there, Truman. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Let's head back to this. So we have the plot. We're going to link this to a Lucy chart page, which is not something that we have yet, which is fine. This is the advertisement, which I'll just leave alone. I should probably change that out, but that's okay. Now, what I do here is I have a number of these spans that have different keywords. These keywords are how the JavaScript knows what to update. So if we looked at this when it's not loaded in the files yet, you'll see that it defaults to 0. Many of you have commented on this before, so it's nothing unusual to say the least. But yeah, there we go. So we got it towards Earth. And what does Lucy's trajectory look like? Let's get an idea. So this is the NASA picture here. It's going to do flybys of Earth and Jupiter. So we're going to have to make this a little bit bigger, and we're going to have to put in Jupiter, which I have never actually done. Interesting. We're also going to have to add in all of the Trojan asteroids, which will be a lot of fun, to say the least. Okay. So I'm going to put this in the other screen, and I'm going to open up a different script here. All of my import. So the way that fundamentally Where's Roadster works is, let's see if I can find it. We load in a bunch of data files. Gosh, I can't believe all of the work that's went into this over time. Create plot, onload data. So by default, we load in the inner solar system planets, Ceres, and the Tesla Roadster, because this is Where's Roadster after all. Anytime I go in to add a different one, we have some extra files that we will load in. Sun speed is used for statistics relative to the sun. I don't know if we're going to do that or not with this, but we will subject it to this. We're just going to change this to Lucy. And Sun to Lucy is the name that we're going to give this. And what this onloaded here is a function. This is all code that I have in a little helper function that will just go load these binary functions that are useful for a variety of things. So I'm going to write down the names of all of these objects from that Eurybates, Polymele, Donald Johansson, Patroclus, Menoitis encounter, and so 1, 2. Oh yeah, we need Orus and Lecus. So the way that Lucy's going to go, it's going to roughly, let's see, the last two. So Donald Johansson, it's going to be the first asteroid that's going to pass by. And then it's going to pass by a bunch of them here, these 4. So we got the names of them here. The Trojan asteroids kind of occupy a region. There's something called Lagrange points. Essentially, 60 degrees ahead of orbit and behind the orbit is a fairly stable region for things to occupy. And these Trojan asteroids have probably been by there quite a few times. So there'll be 6 different flybys plus 1 of Earth. Donald Johansson is in the main belt, so they're going to pass through the L4 asteroids, which are the ones that are ahead. Jupiter is moving in this direction, and then it'll pass through the L5 later just by sheer coincidence. And then after all of this, it'll do another flyby of Earth and may or may not do something interesting after them. But for right now, we're just going to put in the objects that we know about. So we'll save this. That will not be super helpful at the moment. We'll come back to this. The next thing we need to do is to load in our data files. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I absolutely want to get to those. Assuming that I actually have the right window pulled up so I can check chat. Good. Okay. So the way that I generate all of these files is in a file that I don't usually have access to. We'll get back to that one. I don't need that. I have too many files open. Bad me. You guys are seeing the very raw version of how this is done. Okay. So we don't have that. It's a separate Python script because Python is a wonderful programming language. And it's dates back to the old version of Where is Roadster, which used to be completely manually pieced together. It was kind of awful. I can't believe that lasted for as long as it did. It's in here, and you can see all the old files that I probably should do something with. I do keep the master binary here, though, just because. So generate binaries. This is the real secret thing to the success that you may never have seen. Essentially, what this does is it queries the Horizon database, which let me pull that open. We're going to need it here in a moment. So Horizon here is a way to do these cool little queries of where the various objects are. They have some really interesting things. So we'll leave this alone because my script will do this correctly. It actually specifies the sun, which is the center of the sun. I used to have a point on the surface of the sun for this because I was really bad back in the day. The target body, this is the trick. So we're going to have to add in Lucy, which is the spacecraft here. Select indicated body. This doesn't have the name for it. That's weird. There's a number. Let's generate an ephemeris. Yeah, that's fine. Batch mode. Huh. What I need is the number for this. They changed the interface here recently, so that makes things interesting. Okay, we can view the settings by the link. There we go. So this 500 is the sun? That's not supposed to be. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The command here, though, this is Lucy. It's a magic number. I'll show you how we're going to use that in a bit. And we will need all of the magic numbers for all the various objects that we're getting access to. So down here, it's kind of bad code, but that's okay. And we'll put this at the top of the list because we're likely to have some problems. You can see the various spacecraft. We're skipping Percy because it's landed now. I don't remember ever doing that, but that's okay. This is Lucy. So Lucy's magic number is -49. We're going to query this. And then we need to... Oh, okay, I get it. We need to save the file. So we're going to call this lucy.dat. Never mind the file formats. Min date is important for this. Because okay. Well, this is fine. The min date, so it launched today. So October, what is today? The 16th? At 1300, that's a little bit off. If we go back to our JPL Horizon window, I have too many windows open already. This always happens. If we hit generate ephemeris, it's going to say nothing was available prior to this time. So I'm going to copy that time. And we're going to go back to our Magic Lucy window. And we're going to put that in. And I'm just going to round it up a little bit because I'm lazy. So nothing for Lucy was available before this time. Presumably that's the launch time or something like that. And when I run this script now, then we will create the file for Lucy. But we need a bunch of other things in here too. We need Jupiter. So Jupiter will be, honestly, this is a little bit tricky with Jupiter because it is around for its orbital period is larger than Ceres. The command for that is just going to be 5 because it's the 5th planet from the sun. Nothing too fancy. I'm actually going to put Jupiter with the other planets, I think we've decided, but the other objects are all going to start there. So the start time and end time can be whatever the defaults are. That's fine. This colon is, I believe, important. And then I'm going to just call this Jupiter. The 3D is something that was important once upon a time, but it is no longer. And I have kept it. Juniper. What? Jupiter. There we go. Gosh, I cannot type. The min date is also not load vector, vector command. These two don't. Okay, we'll delete those. No problemo. That will give us Jupiter. So now we need to get in the other objects. So we'll go put all of these here. I'll leave this pasted here because we're going to need to load all of these in. I'm also going to add in Jupiter. Okay. So let's paste these after Lucy. I will only start recording these today. That's fine. We won't, well, how did we do it for the other objects? Bennu. We used the same launch date as Osiris-Rex, so that's fine. We'll keep doing that consistently. So this one will be Donald Johansson. Okay. What is Donald Johansson's magic number? Well, let's save all of this. And then go back to Horizon. And it's going to be, I believe, the small satellite identifier. Although, the planets have a little bit of conflict with that, which is fine. So target body here. Let's search for Donald Johansson. I believe this will be the magic number. I'm going to hit the batch mode. Let's see if that is the command. Oh, nope. That's interesting. 252246. I don't know what the 20 means, but interesting. All right. Let's go ahead and paste that in. we'll call this Donald Johansson .dat. All right, easy peasy. I don't know that I need the min date here. We don't use the min date. Good. So let's get rid of this. Oh, I know what that is. This we can delete. Hey, Cassie. I did not expect to see you around here. Welcome. You see my horrible mess of a web programming. I know you took a proper web programming class, so you know, if it works, it works. So the next one is one of the Trojan asteroids. Cassie is my sister, if you guys didn't know. Sorry, I will call you out. Let's go ahead and save this. So let's see here. Go back to Horizons, and we're going to search for this guy. Okay, it found it. Excellent. And did this update? How good is this? Nope. That did not update. So we'll refresh. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. So we'll copy that designator in and paste that in. And then give the name right. Cool. So now we just keep doing this for the remaining objects. So Polymelly. Names are probably pronounced wrong, but that's okay. Whoops, I did not want to. I mean, it doesn't matter that much, but we'll go with the command. Polythemy, hit the refresh button. Oh, there it is. Good. Yeah. And put that in. Now I'll just copy paste. We'll do one for Horus, one for Lycos, one for Patroclus, and one for Menoetis, or however you pronounce these. I mean, I'm probably butchering them, and that's okay. This is called Notepad++. It is a simple text editor for programmers. It's really the only way to describe it. So did we do polythemy? Yes. So next one is Horus. Let me close some of these. I'll close that one and this one. We don't need those at the moment. So Horus is this guy. Good. Let's go ahead and put you in. And that is 2021 1900. It's a very interesting designator. Okay. Leocus. So we've known about these guys for a long time. That's interesting. We'll just copy the number. I don't think we need the rest. And then Patroclus. You'll see why I do it this way here when we actually run it as opposed to just trying to get that manually. Bottom line is it take forever. This is 617. That means it's the 617th object discovered in the solar system. essentially. It's not quite right, but it's kind of close. It's been a long time that we've known about this thing. Okay, and then Menoetis. So that means it's a pretty big object, usually, especially when it's as far out as Jupiter. So we'll go ahead and search this. No objects found. I must have spelled it wrong. Well, how is it supposed to be spelled? Menoetius. Menoetius is a... Well, let's see what options we hear. No, all objects are fine. I'm going to just Google this name and see if it corrects it. So it is a Greek mythology. Let's try this version. No, matching bodies found. So because this is a moon, it may not show up, right? This is a moon of Patroclus. I don't know. I do not know. Let's see if we have a designator here. Okay, let's open up Wikipedia. So I'll show you guys what I'm looking at here. It is a binary system. It's one of the Lucy targets. I'm looking for anything that may give it a distinct name, and it may not have one. So this is something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. It doesn't have a designator because it is orbiting a different object. So what we're going to have to do... So that will link to... Okay, first discovered of a binary Trojan asteroid. It is quite large. Binary system. Huh. Well, I guess we don't know. And that is going to be interesting here. So what we'll do then is I'm going to make a note here. We're not going to save this. This is a Trojan moon Patroclus. No separate information available at this time. Okay, so we got all of the various objects now, and it looks like we're going to have to add in, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because of Jupiter. New objects. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this. Just if I ever do, that's a start point. Yep. Menoetius was a second generation Titan. Exactly. I saw that in Wikipedia too. We need another command line window. So we'll open up this. And let's go into our magic old file. We're going to run this Python generate binaries. And this is going to take a couple minutes. It's going to generate all of the objects. Some of them, it's printing out the various parameters. If you go through here, you can read minus 49, whatever object that was, it was having a hard time with. I wonder why. What is minus 49? Lucy. Hang on. Let's check this out. So we'll go to Horizon. We're going to look for Lucy. My guess is that I'm trying to query beyond what it's capable of. So it launched, we'll call this tomorrow. We're just going to say 1 calendar month, and we're going to go for like 6 years. So when we hit generate ephemeris, oh, okay. So this gives you a little summary of the various parameters of objects. We could have done this and it would have saved us some time. Very interesting. Yeah, I wish I knew more of this Greek mythology stuff. I should. Oh. Huh. So Patroclus, satellite number 1 of Eurybates. So this is the one. I think if I put in this number, then it's going to give me the correct object. Although it's curious that they have a different name for it. If I drop the designator, it will just work. I'll send them a note to say to fix their script. But let's see how the script is run. It is kind of horrible. Okay, well, that didn't work. And it didn't give us a huge amount of data either. It's having problems with Lucy for some reason. Why? Not that one. So we queried, and we clearly have data. What was the exact start time that we used? That may be relevant. The exact start time for Lucy was 2021, October 16. In fact, let's just copy this. These aren't actually needed, and I should work on getting rid of those, as a very early version of it seemed to indicate that might be needed, but it's not really. So the start time we'll put there. Let's see if that converts it. Good. Generate ephemeris. Okay. So we can't start quite yet. Let's give it maybe an hour later. There we go. So that's probably the error that we are faced with. And my script doesn't know what to do with it, because computer programs are really great at doing exactly what you tell them to do. And if they come across something that they don't understand, then they will not do. They don't know what to do, and so they'll just do something stupid usually. And that's what happened there. So this is here. Not sure if this is right. We'll find out when we go to plot it if it looks reasonable. So let's try this again. Writing loose. Yahoo! This is what we hope to see. And you see this printing out like this. This happens when there's an error, but some of these errors are correctable, and some of them are not. We keep printing them out, though, so that we know for when those ones that are not correctable. All right, we got everything except for Jupiter, and Jupiter will come. So let me go ahead and I'm going to copy these into the right directory, these files that are being generated. We'll go ahead and update what we have too, so the website will get slightly updated things during a time that they normally wouldn't. Which is all good. I think, yeah, I only have the Parker Solar Probe sun speed. We're not going to do a sun speed for everything else. So that's all good. I need to put these in the right directory. So there's a lot of folders. There's one of them that has specifically these binary type things. How is the script looking? Okay, we're getting Marco, Parker Solar Probe. Parker Solar Probe is kind of annoying because we have to have a lot of different data files for it because it changes its speed quite a bit and it looks really awful if you don't have them. So we just need a bigger file for it. It's not used very often, but it is available on the website. While this is happening, let's go ahead and add Lucy to our website. Let's see here. You don't add it here. You add it in the config. So let's just find where PSP is. Parker Solar Probe. And we're going to put this right after it. The weight will be the same. This is going to be Lucy. Lucy, where are you? And the URL will be Lucy. So there we go. Now, if we go back to our website, did we stop running Hugo? Bad me. Okay, let's try this again. Hugo server. We have an error. We didn't find Lucy charts. Okay, that is a fair error. Let's go ahead and just create that yet because we created the link to Lucy charts and it didn't see it. So for that, we'll open up PSP charts. And we're just going to save as Lucy charts. Not going to change anything yet, but we will eventually need to do this. So this should allow us to run. So then if I hit refresh, maybe. Oh, it didn't, it stopped. Okay, try again. There we go. Now we have the website loaded. If we hit other missions, we see Lucy here. Cool. I know this is so exciting, but you know, it's all good. So if we click on Lucy, We'll see Lucy. We see the image we have, and it's not loading anything, so we see all zeros. So we're going to remove the sun indicator here. We can get rid of that. Do we have the Jupiter file yet? No. PSP.dat is taking a long time. It's kind of curious, but that's okay. All right. Anywho, let's go back to Lucy. We're going to get rid of the sun speed because that is not as interesting for Lucy. Not from Venus, for Mercury, we don't care. This is the one that we needed, the sun speed. It's how fast has it gone around the sun. So we only do that for the Roadster and PSP. The Roadster, because we do everything for the Roadster. How else are you going to know how many miles it's driven? Okay. Time since launch. We can update that one real quick. Let's go ahead and see where that is. The launch time. Lucy launch time was exactly, so it's 2021. This date.utc I think does something funny that I think, no, the month is 10. We'll find out real quick if this works. 16, and it launched at, UTC was 9:34. If we had seconds, we could put that after, but we don't. At least from my quick version. Yeah, 30 days. So what happens, it's really weird, and I have to remember it every time. You actually have to subtract a month from the month because reasons. So it's been 7 hours since launch. Sweet. We're already getting this together. All right. Now let's check on our script. Where is it getting stuck? It's stuck somewhere because it should not take that long. So Parker Solar Probe.dat, this guy. That's curious. I don't know. Oh, this does just take a long time to figure out. Okay, that's fine. We'll leave it keep going. Let it keep going. It'll be fine. So back in Lucy charts, not charts, Lucy.md, we're going to load in the files that we need. We do not need an equivalent of that. So all we're going to do is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we'll put Sun to Jupiter, Sun to, I'm just going to call this DJ. It's only used internally, so Sun to Yuri Bates, Sun to Polly Thing, Sun to Oris, Sun to Lekos, Sun to, I don't know why I still keep doing this. And then we need the Menonis. And then I forgot to change the names of what file we're loading. It's also very important. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit save. Hmm. All right. So this will load in all the files. Now we have to plot these, and we're also going to need to figure out the distance from Lucy to all of these. So let's look at, we're going to start by searching for Sun to PSP. Anywhere that is, in fact, we can do just a global replace with Sun to Lucy. Replace all. And then I'm going to have to come up with a little icon for Lucy. We'll find one of those later. Lucy. It won't hurt too much. Is there anywhere else where PSP shows up? So this will be Lucy for the plot. This we can just get rid of. Okay, that's easy enough. Yeah, save all the documents. We have a Mercury field that we're going to not use. Essentially, the way that all of this works is you have to specify the field name, and then it will go and fix the various things here. It'll get the speeds and output everything into it. It's kind of awful, but like I said, I wrote this really quick and dirty. I can do web programming, but I have never called myself a great web programmer. So this one, we're going to change to, from Sun to Mercury, we're going to change it to, we'll call the DJ. Sun to DJ. So these get the speeds. This will show, it gets the speeds and it also gets the distances. I even left a comment in here saying I should change this. It must mean I was confused at this at some point in time. So we're going to call it DJ dist. And then we're going to call it DJ towards. And then we get the relative speeds. Okay, so now we need to put in the DJ fields, which we can do. Where will those? So we need to go up to here. So spacecraft is moving towards Earth. Let's take a just peek at this. So we have Earth, Venus, we don't care, the Sun. So let's do Earth, Sun, and then the order that they're appearing, and then we'll leave the test the Roadster for the last one because this is whereisroadster.com. Maybe. I mean, if you post me a link, usually what I do, well, I'll show you eventually. If you have a link and it's something that I can use, that is also key, right? Because I don't want to steal people's stuff. So I'm going to cut this. We've got the Sun. So, okay, the spacecraft is So what we need to do here is change all of these to DJ. I wish I had a better way to do this. I really do. Problem is I don't do this from Donald Johansson. Not to be confused with Donald Trump. This looks like I have a bug in the Parker Solar Probe stuff, actually. We'll have to go fix that eventually. Okay. Then we have the Tesla Roadster at the end, and this is the asteroid. Then we'll do the L4 Trojan asteroids, and I'll call those out separately. All right. Let's actually see if this works, though. Why? We'll pull up the console here, which will allow us to see. Undefined has no properties. Learn more. X is not Y. Where get speeds here? Spacecraft data is null. It shouldn't be. Huh. Well, let's figure this out. Let's see if we're not using Parker Solar Probe. So Lucy dot dat to Sun to Lucy, and then Sun to Lucy is used here, there. What line exactly was causing us this issue? Get speeds, it's this line. So this is in function get speeds. Let's take a look at that function. Let's change this to HTML, and this will look a lot prettier. There we go. So where's get speeds? Gets sun speed. I don't think we're using this anywhere. So we can delete that. This is left over from Parker Solar Probe days. Is created. We actually have, so we have numplots will be 1 plus each of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, it is just 9. That's fine. Okay, let's keep looking at the console. Still looks the same, which is not surprising since we didn't actually change the code that was broken in any way. We just found some other issues. So get speeds. First of all, where is this called from? Sun to Earth, Sun to Lucy. I don't want the Venus. Let's get rid of this. Maybe this is the problem. And let's try refreshing. Okay. We're still getting something. Let's try this one. Incorrect context fetched. Please reload. Interesting. So then if we check the console here, we're getting some very, very different errors. Interesting. So we got the refresh rate going. Then get speeds. This is crashing because of why? Undefined has no properties. So it's for Sun to Earth and which should exist, and Sun to Lucy. Do I have the capitalization right? Yeah, I should. So this is the one that's crashing. In here. Sun to Earth, Sun to Lucy. Do we use a capital? Yes. We did. Well, did we do that when we loaded it? Yes. And it is called Lucy.dat, is it not? This is still taking way too long. I don't know why it's taking so long. It's maybe because it's doing a close approach day. Who knows? CD desktop, Roadster, Python generate binaries. Every now and then my stuff has these kinds of issues. For the most part, whereas Roadster is kind of just does its own thing, it's usually pretty right. But every now and then it has some weird issues that show up that cause me all kinds of fun. Okay, it got past that problem, whatever it was. Got Osiris Rex, Bennu, Mercury. Okay, we're getting to the planets now. Good. Good. Getting the Roadster. We have Jupiter. Gonna go ahead and bring these files into the right spot. And Lucy.dat has, well, if we look here, Lucy.dat is 0 kilobytes. It didn't run. Why? It didn't run, but it thought it did. I swear, if it's those, maybe it was this. Maybe I'm thinking something else. Because I'm looking at it and all of the files that I did that. So Donald Johansson, Dear Bates, Polythemy, Oras, Lenos. Yep, they're all 0. So maybe it did matter. All right, save the documents and let's try this again. I couldn't tell you what this is actually. They're being written, and let's see if they are bigger than 0. Yes. Let's refresh. Lucy at least is bigger than 0. Why are the other ones? Maybe it's that designator thing is kind of screwing something up. Let's try to remove this and see if that loads up Donald Johansson. Nope. Well, what if I do this? Actually, let's try removing that semicolon. Maybe that's screwing it up. I'm just going to try a couple. Nope. That did not work. Let's just try this. Sometimes you just have to play with these. Lucy, Donald Johansson. Hey, that did work. So let's see. We're removing the designator and the 20 and the semicolon. I don't think the semicolon matters that much, but we'll go ahead and get rid of it. I don't know what we're going to do for the last one that we have here. Did we get data for that? Menotis thought that. No. So that one is not working. Maybe this will work? I don't know. What? Oh, okay. That's an easy mistake to make and to fix. Run this again. Okay, now I see that we're getting data for everything, including Menotitis, or however you pronounce it. I don't know that that's the right data, but we have data. So let me go ahead and put these in the right directory. And then we'll figure things out from here. All right, let's go take a look at our website. And I believe this will give us something meaningful. Still nothing, huh? Well, let's see here. We have the synced data. We have, let's just try refreshing. Nope. Darn. Okay, well, let's see here. What do we do now? Give up in pain and misery? No, we're not going to give up. Jeez, this is taking longer than I thought. I have another hour, and then I need to do something else. Really, only half an hour. Okay. So let's see here. We have this data. We're not in create plot. We should be in... We're in get speeds. Where's get speeds being called in this instance? Sun to Earth, Sun to Lucy. So spacecraft data is not equal to null, which is good. So we're trying to find the distance between it, and it's crashing on this line. This is a really horrible way to find things. We did better on the main side. Let me look at the function from index. That's how we used to do things, and it worked very slowly. So the reason being is because it's a binary. It's a really horrible, inefficient search algorithm. Get sun speed. This does get speeds. Well, index is less than... That still does the same way. I guess I'm only doing it differently for the plots, which is kind of okay. This is actually a better way to do it, isn't it? Well, that's fine. I may do some optimization at some other points. Where's index 2? The index of the second object. Okay. I think what this is ultimately saying is that we don't have any data for Lucy. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Let's find the exact line that it crashes. So go to the console. And it's right here. So it's at this TD2 equals, var TD2 equals line. T2. I don't see the var TD2. It is T2. So var T2 equals this. So it's after the while loop, and let's print. How do you console dot? Is it console dot log T2? Not T2, index 2 maybe. Let's see if this works. Otherwise, I'll have to Google how it is that we do things like that. Console is not defined. Of course not. Well, we know the line where... So hang on. JavaScript print to console. Gotta Google it. It doesn't have any print methods. Console, it's all lowercase. That's all it is. Okay. So that will save, and then let's look at our script. Look at the console. 499. Well, that's interesting. We shouldn't be there. The spacecraft data, I mean, we just launched it today. So, spacecraft data is less than that, and the next one. So this is saying essentially, are you between the two? What time were those ephemeris files dated for Lucy? This may be essentially it's too soon after launch. But no, it shouldn't matter. October 16th at 1100. So what we're going to do here, console.log this. Honestly, we could probably get away with doing only one of these checks. If the index plus 1 is greater than today, let's do the second check. Actually, no, we'll do this on two separate lines. And I'm going to say console.log index. This is going to index 2. This is going to pretty clearly tell us where our issue is. So let's go ahead and do this. Not generate binaries. We don't need to do that one again. We want to go into the web browser. Check the console. So the second one's always true. That's what the problem is. This is going to keep running, which is going to make it really difficult. We're going to say if index 2 is less than 5. Yeah. We're only going to log some of the time the issues. If we think there's a decent chance that it will be of value. Whoops. Delete there, and we should be good. Let's go ahead and check our console. False true, false true. So it should start at 0. Yeah, this is a particularly strange issue. I bet you if I start at 0, this will work right. Okay, it's giving new and interesting errors, which is what we were hoping for. Perfect. But we actually do have some distances. Let's go ahead and remove some of that debug code. Gosh, I can't believe I haven't run across that one before. And then if we check this out, so we're getting some of them, but not all of them, which is fine. We're getting the distance from, yeah, the first Donald Johanson. We got the distance from the sun and the distance from Earth. Hey, look at it go away. speed of cool. I don't have miles per second as a unit, which I'm okay with. We got this. Okay, now all we have to do is continue this for all of our other objects. I did want to check the console output though real quick to see what it's whining about. Yeah, Lucy.png not found, which is fine. Sun to Mercury is not found in the plot helper. That's kind of curious actually, but it's not a huge concern. We'll figure that one out in a bit. Okay. And okay. This plot location. That's the image. We need to change the size of the image. The plots. And that is something, I think I did that in the Osiris Rex. Change the language to HTML so it looks pretty. So if we look in the create plot here, we do change the axis. Layout.x-axis and y-axis. Let's change these to like 4, I think it's AU, so it's like 5 AU. And I may eventually do something funny like we have with Bennu, but that's okay. Where did that layout come from? So this is in the create plot routine. And the create plot routine is pretty minimal. Okay, so we do have layout. So we have to do it before the layout is actually applied. So we'll just do this. Layout.width equals... Oh, we do have these here. That's the width. But what we need is the x-axis and y-axis range. Okay. So go to Lucille, and this is going to be equal to, let's say 5, 5, and same thing with the range here. X and Y. So this will zoom out enough so that we can see Jupiter. We're not plotting though that because we don't have Mercury. Huh. That's what this error was that was in the very top. Sun to Venus is not defined because we're not fully loaded. Ew. Well, that is interesting. So create plot. What do I do in the index with this? Create plot. We just load it. Interesting. We don't do any kind of checking to see that it is available, and I doubt the various plots for the planets and such are loaded in a different function. So how are those loaded? What's load plots look like? Load plots, create plots. Must be how we're checking to see. Okay, so we do have a num loaded if it's greater than or equal to 1. Let's just try, for the fun of it, increasing this and see if that fixes our problem. We're never loading anything. That is something. Okay, so this cannot be any higher than 9. Load plots, test create plot. So when loading everything is done, then it's going to call this. And that will tell us if we've loaded in all of these. And then create the plots if we have loaded in everything here. So load plots must be in my helper. I'll show you the mystical helper. You can download this if you so desire. Plot helper has a couple of useful functions. Load plots. So we do load everything in here. Plots are ready on loaded func. So we set the function to load, we test to see if everything's ready, and we should not even try until we've loaded everything. We do manually check each one of the plots is loaded. So test create plots. What else can call that? So when we load it, we will run test create plots as well. Maybe we'll have to do something a little bit better for this. What is this looking like? Sun to Mercury is not defined in create plot. Yeah, okay. What we'll do then is base function base plots loaded. This will just be main plots loaded equals true. And then we'll call test create plot here. But test create plot is actually going to specifically check to see if this is set. So we're going to call this as false. Actually, let's have that before we start trying to load anything at all. Right there. So that's true, and we'll say the test plots will be if num loaded and main plot loaded. Then we'll create the plots. Otherwise, we won't. Let's see if this works. And are we doing anything? No. Why not? Why not? Plot helper. We'll call if plots are ready instead of this mess. I think that's a better way. So then we can change this to back to there. We can delete that. And honestly, we should be able to do this anytime. Yeah, this is fine. This is better. Now, curiously enough, we're still not seeing anything here. I think this is something else. Let's comment out our changing of the axes. See if that does anything differently. Yeah, so we're seeing everything again. Lucy right there by Earth. So our axis scaling here was not doing what we were hoping it would do. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's look at our plot helper and see what the axes are set to. The range is, it's minus. Oh, that's what the problem was. Okay, we got it. We should have had -5 and -5. It's okay, we made this a little bit more robust while we were hammering on it. There we go. Yay! So now let's get Jupiter in. And Lucy is not yet in there. Well, yeah, it's the yellow line. So what color should Jupiter be? What do you guys think? That's the important question. Got a lot of these things to figure out, but we'll get there. So that's Lucy. Let's Sun to Jupiter. I'll call it the same color, and we'll use the same icon for the moment. Jupiter. I just want to see how it looks. Did I go far enough out? Greenish for Jupiter. Well, we'll take a look. It's got to be a little different. Well, they could be the same color as the Roadster, I suppose. How far away is Jupiter? Jupiter's 5.2 AU. So it should have showed up here, but it didn't. Why not? Get default layout. Did we load Sun to Jupiter? Yeah. We even did it right. What does the 4 mean? Let's look at Osiris Rex again. Let's look at how it plots. Oh, that's probably how big of a line it is. That's fine. Well, I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to make sure that's not the problem. But at 6 AU, we 100% will see Jupiter. We should see it at 5. Jupiter actually should be a 2. 4 are for the main spacecraft. What's this 150? That's how big of an orbit it is. Okay. Lucy, we're going to call you like 600. And then Jupiter, it's how many days of an orbit? Jupiter orbits in like years, so we'll call it 1800. I don't know. Let's see what this looks like. Jupiter, hang on. Did we actually plot Jupiter? We have the DAT file. Is this the right object? What I need to do, so this is the binary file, which is an utter mess. Okay. So I'm going to put edit 5 colon in here. Let's just say 5. Jupiter Berry Center. Which isn't really what we want. We want let's put Jupiter in here and see what happens when we'll go to the not ephemeris result, delete that. We want this one. 500. We'll try at 500 and see what that does. I think we're not getting Jupiter loaded in right. I think that's what the problem is. And we're also not going to even try to have an icon for it. I'm going to use just Mars's icon for this short term. And let's see if we can get this to work. So let's see, S-plot location, Sun to Jupiter. We're going to call it just Mars. And then Jupiter. See if this does anything. That'll be the size of everything. That will be fine. Still not showing Jupiter. just for the fun of it, I'm just going to Google an image of Jupiter. I want it to be distinct. We probably want it to be... This would be a good color. So let's do color picker. We want it to be kind of an orangish. Maybe a little bit darker. Something maybe vaguely like this. I think that's a good choice. We'll leave this for now. Maybe change it later, but I want to also try a distinct color just in case this reveals any information as to what's happening. Okay. That looks very, very close to the Venus color, doesn't it? I think I'm okay with that. Hang on one sec. Okay. I think we are okay. We'll probably try changing this some, but where is Jupiter? I think we lost it in our creation script, so we're going to have to rerun that. Oh, we do not want the semicolon. The semicolon is for minor objects. The big number is for the planet itself. So we were doing some asteroid in the asteroid belt is what it comes down to. Honestly, step size for Jupiter, let's do 5 days. Well, no, we'll leave it at 2. So this is going to take a while to generate, as we know. I'm actually impressed the Lucy launch went off without a hitch. We knew that we were going to be trying to do this with this kind of instantaneous launch in such a short time. They considered launching it on a Falcon 9, but the Falcon 9 was deemed to not be good enough in terms of its ability to launch on time as Atlas, and Atlas did it on the first time, so good on them. This mission could not happen if it launched late. It was totally impossible to do anything but a on-time launch. Okay, we do have Jupiter, so let's plug in our new Jupiter file and see what happens. No. All right. Well, let's do this then. Let's go to Lucy. We're going to add in towards the star. We'll put in Jupiter next. This will just be J. Just put a J after all of these, and then this will help us to test that all of the various things are working as expected. I'm sure there's a much better way to do this. There must be. Okay, and then let's go find a block of code that we can do. Send to GJ, send to Lucy. Then we're going to do send to Jupiter, send to Lucy, and we'll plop that in there, and then these all just become J. This will be Jupiter. Same field. And then J, J, J. Let's see what this shows. The second one is Jupiter, and that is not showing up at all. That's very curious. Wonder why we're not getting Jupiter loaded in. We are loading it. So that will be Jupiter. Okay, all of the files are done being created. Let's just dump them all back in, see if that somehow fixed something. I doubt it, but it's worth a shot. Okay, replace. And we do not need that one. Okay. We have no Jupiter. We also have no Sun. But we do have the Donald Johansson. The first one. The second one we don't have, and I kind of expect that. Undefined has no properties. Where exactly is this? Sun to Jupiter exists, but it is not being loaded in. This may be exactly the same problem, actually. Hang on. It's less than JD. No, the Jupiter will have a much larger value because it is being loaded as a planet. In fact, let's copy this and we'll paste this after the planets. 1, 2, 3, 301 for the moon, 4, 5. It's curious I have the moon. I don't think I actually use that anywhere. Okay. Let's make sure of the line that it crashed. Stop it. There we go. It crashed on the index. Because the index, no doubt, was too big. Maybe it's the distance from actual Jupiter. We're not seeming to load in anything at all. Why? Why? Jupiter.dat, Sun to Jupiter. Just for the fun of it, console.log index. I'm sure this is going to be something totally ridiculous. So we'll refresh this. 0. This is crashing on 0. Index plus 1. So it's saying that it's not having any data loaded in from Jupiter at all. But there is data. I can see that there's data in here. We saw the binary version of this. Huh. Did I typo the name or something? Yes. Well, it helps when you spell it right. Okay. That was embarrassing. That will fix that problem. So we have Jupiter showing up now. It's okay that it's blinking like that now. We'll get that fixed eventually. The other objects will all just do kind of a grayish color. And I do want to go ahead and plot those. Now, unfortunately, because of the way whereas Roadster works, it's actually a real pain to show the entire orbit. Just showing a part of what is quite easy. So let's see. Sun to Jupiter. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to put in Sun to GJ. Sun to Uranus. So I'm not going to fix the names on these because I'm running out of time, but I do want to show these all plotted. So that's just going to show the locations. And then for the orbits, we need to do something similar to this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'll have to double check that we got all of these, but that's fine. Hey! Yeah, we have multiple Jupiters. Let's fix the name real quick of these. Just the names. Donald Johansson. This is your Beatties. Polymelli. Euros. Pericles. And they're breeding, yep. 2. I'm actually going to make these 1, and we'll make them a gray color. Jupiter can be 2. We'll put them the same exact color, actually, but that we do for Bennu, which is what? This color. Oh, that'll show up as Jupiter in there, but that's fine. I'll fix the legend later. Something's not right about this. We're missing the L5 ones. Okay. Well, I have to go for now. I can probably continue this at some point in time later. Whether I continue via stream or not, let me know. Leave comments or, whatever. The more people want me to do it, the more likely I will. Thanks, guys, for stopping in and for paying attention to the website and everything. Until next time, keep on tracking. Take care, guys.